Today we go over Allegri's amazing 3-5-2, one of the best defensive tactics I've probably ever released on this channel. It conceded only 0.39 a game at its best, which is absolutely remarkable and seems to work with every single team we play with as well. So definitely worth trying it with your saves, guys. If you do enjoy the tactics on this channel, be sure to leave a like, drop a little comment below on any future videos you want to see, and lastly, be sure to subscribe as well if you haven't already, because over 70% of you guys haven't, so be sure to subscribe. It's completely free. Let's get into it. First team we're going to test with is going to be his current team, Juventus, obviously having quite a good season as well, to be fair to him. And I tell you what, we had an even better season in this game. Not only did we win the Serie A by quite a comfortable placement, apart from Milan right behind us. Apart from Milan, it was a very comfortable season. Obviously only a 3-point gap between us and Milan, and I believe we actually lost to them. So yeah, it was very, very close, I will say. We also did win the Italian Cup against Milan as well, so, you know, done a double over him. Don't want to brag or anything. 98 goals scored and only 15 goals conceded, which is very, very defensively solid indeed. There's going to be big Dusan coming in with 43 goals. Now, any Juventus fans, if I've got any Italian viewers, how good is this guy in real life? Because I don't feel like I've heard a lot about him of recent times. Let me know. Any Italian fans, let me know. Also, it's going to be Kostic coming in with 24 assists and Szczesny with a 96% pass completion. And out of all these games played, we only lost 2 games, which is really, really impressive. Obviously, winning 31 and drawing 5. A really good set of stats there. Team stat-wise, we are going to feature in a fair few of them. That is going to be 5 to be exact. The fewest conceded at 15, which I still can't. That's ridiculous. A really good stat line there. The most clean sheets joint with AC Milan. Possession-wise, we're not going to be in there because we are a very direct counter-attacking style. Shots against, 188, so a really good stat line there. Also the most shots for, so these counter-attacks, let's not get this twisted, it might come across as a very sort of negative defensive tactic, but you are still going to have a lot of shots on goal and resulting in being the top goal scorers in the league. Over Milan, over Napoli, over Inter, over all of these top teams, and also picking up the most points at 2.58. Of course, going over to the data hub, we are going to have a little browse. 2.58 goals per game, which is really good with an Allegri tactic, in my opinion, because you're never going to expect to score 3 or 4 goals a game playing this way of football. It's very secure football, is a way of wording it. 0.39 conceded, ridiculously defensively solid in this team. 16.84 shots per game, and 88% pass completion, so we're not just wasting the ball with these long passes. A lot of them are going to be getting completed, and a 78.7 tackle win ratio. Now going over to the squad, we are going to browse through some of the player stats. 43 for Big Dusan, Chiesa coming in with 15, 12 for Goli, Milik coming in with 9, 5 for McKennie, 5 for Regani, then 3 for Moiskin. So I will say, with this tactic, I'm not going to hide it, you are relying on a lot of the goals coming from your main sort of target forward. He's not a target forward, but your main striker. So I would say, make sure you've got an absolute bagsman up front, and make sure you have got rotation, because a lot of the goals do come from the striker, very reliant on that role. So make sure you've got a very, very good striker who can put the ball in the back of the net, because you will get goals from other positions, but majority of them are going to be coming from them strikers up front. Assist wise though, very good to see Kostic getting involved with 24 assists, then 8 for Rabiot, McKennie coming in with 8, so sorry, McKennie coming in, what did I say, Rabiot with 8, McKennie with 7, 7 for Dusan as well, 7 for Goli, Locatelli with 6 as well, 6 for Chiesa, also got Matteo coming in with 6, and also Fabio with 5. So we are seeing a decent amount of players obviously getting involved with the assists. Obviously one standout, he was actually playing as a wing back for quite a fair part of this save, so probably why. But again, very similar sort of vibe. You are going to rely on certain 1 to 2 players to get the assists as well, so make sure you are really focused in their positions, which I will talk about in the tactic breakdown. But I had to have a look how this tactic performs in the Bundesliga, so I went with Dortmund, obviously second place favourites to win the league, and we won the league on goal difference. So again, very close, but when you've got the likes of Leipzig and Bayern, by the way, look at that for a title race. The top 3, 1 point difference from third to obviously first. The goal difference was a little bit unfavourable for Bayern, but a ridiculously close Bundesliga title fight, which we're going to take any day of the week, because bearing in mind we come out on top. The Champions League, we got to the semi-finals as well, which again I'm going to take with this Dortmund team, and the Pokal a semi-final against Köln. Maybe would have been nice to at least get to the final in that, but again our main aim was to win the league, and just about we got that done. We scored 76 goals in the league, and again the best at conceding only 19 goals. It's going to be big boy Sebastian Haller coming in with 31 goals scored, Marius Wolfs coming in with 7.46 on the highest average rating, Julian Brandt coming in with 16 assists, and of course Cabell picking up a 95% pass completion. Over to the team stats, we are going to feature in a fair few of them. Of course, going to be the fewest conceded at 19, the most clean sheets coming in at 20. Possession-wise, 53%. That's probably the average you can expect to get with this tactic. Again, it's definitely not a tiki-taka or a control and possession sort of vibe. Fewer shots against at 195, and also the most shots for. And I'm always very keen to see this stat line when you are playing this way of football, because it shows you are still having a lot of shots for. You're not just defending the whole time. You are going on the counter and actually having shots. And we weren't the favourites when it comes to the most goals, but we were only 3 behind RB Leipzig, so nearly the top there as well. And also most points per game joint with RB Leipzig. But it was such a tight fight. It really, really was. And going over to the data hub, we are going to see, again, a very, very good defensive performance at 0.56 conceded per game, 2.24 goals per game scored, which again, I'm going to take anything over 2 with this tactic. I'm happy with, because I know how good we are defensively. We don't need to rely on outscoring anyone because we simply are that good at the back. A 77.4 tackle win ratio, an 88% pass completion, and again, over 15 shots a game. So we're doing the business up front as well. A very strange test, I know, but I've never tested with them, so I thought, you know what, let's just give them a whirl. That is going to be MK Dons in Sky Bet League 2, 6th place favourites to win the league, and we have come out and won the league with quite a naughty little gap as well, only losing 4 games out of a potential 46 as well. So very good stat line there, winning 30 and drawing 12 matches. Runners up in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, semi-finalists in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, where unfortunately Brentford were a little bit too much for us. 103 goals scored, ranking us the best, and also the best at conceding only 39 goals, and all done with 0 red cards. Ellis Harrison gets the top goal scorer with 35, and of course the highest rating at 7.35, and Cameron Norman and Daniel Harvey pick up the most assist joints with 23. So this is quite a good thing to see, because this just, apart from obviously when we looked at Juventus where it was down to one man really, that might just have been a Juventus situation. When you put this tactic in with other sort of teams, you do see a bit more of a comparison. The stat lines, a few people contributing a little bit more, which we're seeing here with these 2 players. And it is going to be Craig McGilvare, very interesting name, with 93% pass completion. Team stat wise, though, we're going to dominate almost everything. The most points per game at 2.22, the most goals at 103, 4 more than Wimbledon in 2nd place, the most shots for at 769, the fewest shots against at 361. Possession wise, a very consistent 54% of the ball. Most dribbles made actually on this occasion with 703, quite a fair few more than Forest Green, who find themselves in 2nd place. The most clean sheets at 16 as well, 1 more than Crawley Town, and also the fewest conceded with quite a good stat line over Salford with 39. So really, really impressed there. Data hub wise, of course, we are going to have a little look. Again, we're under a goal a game despite not being the favourite in the league. 0.85 conceded, over 2 goals a game as well at 2.24, a 77.81 tackle win ratio, an 86% pass completion. I was expecting a worse stat line with this team because obviously the players aren't as good. Putting it bluntly, that is the reality. And again, edging towards 17 shots every single game. And then lastly, 8th place predicted Gijon in the Spanish 2nd Division, where we actually went all the way to the playoffs, which we luckily secured, not luckily, deservedly secured, but it was a very intense playoffs, which luckily we did win against Oviedo to get promotion in the first season to the Spanish first tier, which is a very good season in my eyes. 85 goals scored and the 43 goals conceded. I'll keep it completely real with you guys. For some reason, this tactic might not be the best in the Spanish division. I say this all the time with tactics. Some formations, if you want to say, don't perform as good in certain divisions. The 3-5-2, which obviously is today's video, is very well known for being very good in Italian football, maybe even the Bundesliga, as we saw with Dortmund. Spanish football, not a lot of teams use it, so that is definitely a fact to have when you are testing these tactics. Joan Otero picks up 30 goals and a 7.25 highest average rating, and it's going to be Cote and Rosas picking up 13 assists. Team stat wise, we are going to feature in, is there any? 1, that is going to be the most dribbles being made at 716, and possession-wise, 54% of the ball. Going over to the data hub, we're not going to waste too much time on this, but it is going to be 1.85 goals per game, which again, I am going to take considering I genuinely believe this tactic isn't designed for Spanish football. Conceded per game, very good to see though. We're still way under a goal a game at 0.93, just over 14 shots every single match, and an 87.45 pass completion. Now I will say again, just for you that that are playing with Spanish football, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for that, but there are loads of other tactics on the channel, so be sure to go and pick out like a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, or a narrow system works really well in a Spanish tier. So be sure to do that. For some reason, just in real life, certain formations work a lot better in different leagues. It's as simple as that. I will show you this game very quickly because it is going to be the cup final against Milan, and it was honestly a very dramatic final. We did go 1-0 down here, as you can see. Florenzi threw into Chikway's ball in, and a fantastic finish, to be fair to him, where credit is due. But then we turn on the switch a little bit, go to the attack and variant, and we bounce back and equalise in the 84th minute. And to make it even better, we go through, awful from Tamori there, a ball through into Dusan, past Mayan, and it's what a comeback. What a comeback. Of course, just because it doesn't score 3 or 4 on average per game, you do get the occasional blowout game, as we did here against Empoli. A fantastic performance here, away from home in a 5-0 win. The goal started just before half-time, and then they completely collapsed after half-time, conceding 4 in one half. Danilo playing it out wide into Di Squiglio, ball in the box into Dusan, and that's something we're so used to seeing with this system. The fullbacks providing the assists. Obviously, Kostic had a great season at left-back, who goes down the left-hand side, a great ball into Dusan, and Capril he can do nothing. When you got that sort of caliber of player heading the ball into the ground, you ain't going to stop him. Kostic again out on the left-hand side, ball across into Moise Kean. Again, very similar goal to the right-hand sided one, and the last goal being a set piece actually, all the way back stick, a little cut back. It's beautiful. And even against the best teams in the league, this was the semi-final of the Italian Cup, which we won 5-1 in the end on aggregate. Somebody put a clip in for that, because that is shocking from Sommer in goal. Absolutely appalling. Obviously, we do win this game 3-0, and I'm starting to see why, because Sommer obviously clearly can't save anything. He's had a stinker. Of course, over to your favourite part of the video. If you are enjoying so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you are interested in joining the Patreon, where there are over 10 perks, I want to quickly thank all of the names coming down the screen right now. Be sure to do so. There are lots of perks, including access to all 3 of these tactical variants in one simple download. You also get early video and tactic release all in one. You get priority in the rebuild and the tactic requests. You get one-on-one tactical help. I tweak your game save files. I tweak your tactics. And also, automatically, you get enrolled for the monthly giveaways, which used to be 1, but now we're sort of doing 2 every month. So definitely come and join the other 1,800 people. You won't regret it. A lot of you boys have been signing up recently, and it means the absolute world to me. But let's go over and talk about these player roles then. So we are going to kick things off with a sweeper keeper, who is simply going to be on the default instructions. A very risk-free back 3. That didn't mean to rhyme, but we'll take it. That is going to be a central defender on defend, simply on the default. A ball-playing defender on cover. Now, I wanted to have one of these back 3 a little bit deeper, just a little bit deeper than the other 2, so that is why I've gone for that. And a central defender on the left, who again is simply going to be on the default. So quite a very risk-free back 3, because obviously the wing-backs do need to get involved in the attacking side of the game. So I want to have a very secure back 3 sort of centre-back partnership. The wing-back on the left is going to be on support. You might be surprised to see this is not going to be on attacking, and that does change in the attacking variant, but the default variant isn't designed to go out and, attack. It's meant to be very defensively solid, but has enough just to get them goals in. That's exactly what we've done to a very high level. So a wing-back on support on run wide and stay wider, and that's going to be exactly the same for the right and the left-hand side. In the middle is going to be a DM on support, simply on tackle harder. A box-to-box, one of the most influential roles in this team, because essentially he's obviously going to help the attack, but also come back and help defend, so the perfect role on get further forwards and also stay wider. If you are going to change anything about this tactic, the one thing I wouldn't change is this. Make sure you are telling him to get further forwards, because you need that extra man up the field. And the Mazzala is simply going to be on support on the default. The 2 up top, we are going to have some instructions on. The deep lying forward on support is going to be on run wide. Of course, this system is fairly narrow, so we need a little bit of wide play from the strikers, run from position, and also stay wider. And to finish it off, the advanced forward, who is simply going to be on attack and default moving to channels, which is very handy, considering we want a player that is going to be moving about up here and getting into all different areas of space to cause a lot of havoc. And now, of course, to the team instructions, all based off a custom counter-attacking style on the positive mentality. I will just say, I would not recommend going under the positive mentality unless we are going to be using that defensive variant, because again, it needs a bit of an oomph, a little bit of a boost, so playing on positive is the perfect situation. When it comes to the width, it's going to be set to standard, the nice and simple middle option. We're going to focus the play down the left and the right. This really helped getting the wing backs involved, so I would recommend you stick to this as well. We're going to go with play out of defence because, again, although we haven't got ball playing defenders apart from one of them, we have got 3, and we've got a lot of players at that back sort of area, so it makes sense to make the most of it. A lot of players to pass to. It works really, really well. Directness, of course, it is going to be a little bit more direct than the average tactic I post on here. That is going to be slightly more direct with a standard tempo, so you'll be pleased to know it's not going to be the most aggressive to play on your players. We are also going to tick run at defence and change this to low crosses. So a very direct counter-attacking style, which isn't also going to be too aggressive on your players. So if you are playing as a slightly lower league team, you're quite good news for you. In transition, of course, we're going to have some instructions as well. That's going to be counter press, counter, of course, is a counter-attacking tactic, and we're going to distribute to the centre-backs while taking short goal kicks. Now, I've not opted for the full-backs because sometimes they are still in very attacking areas, and we've got 3 centre-backs. You need to be using them. On possession, we are going to go with the high pressing line of engagement and also the higher defensive line. We're going to step that line up more as well, really get them involved. We're going to go much more often on the trigger press and prevent short goalkeeper distribution because we have got 2 strikers up there. And that is going to give you your default variant, but do stick around because we've got 2 more variants to come. And trust me, you're going to want to get all 3. We have a lot of fun with Dortmund as well, though, to be fair, and a 4-0 win against Augsburg is one of the highlights. Marco Reus going through right now, and I wanted to show you this first goal because that actually went down as an own goal, which I think is absolutely outrageous in my opinion. Marco Reus tucks away a penalty inside of the 30th minute that was. Ryanson through to Marco Reus again, who enjoyed a fantastic season. Ball across there into Julian Brandt, who again had a fantastic season. And one last goal here, Marco Reus out wide into Mori, who's going to touch it down. Fantastic fullback through to Reus into a demi. What a game. I wanted to show you this game because I wanted to showcase how we perform against the best teams in the game, like a PSG. You can see the team they played out here. And we come out, yes, it's not loads of goals, but it's a 2-0 win, which is a really good result. And I wanted to showcase and show you this because it just shows what you can do even against the big teams playing this way of football. A great bit of pressing there from Marlon, who gets a very deserved goal. And the second goal does come quite late on into Wolf, who takes his time, a ball over the top, quite direct to be fair, into Ryerson, ball through into Makoko. So it's not always about playing a high gegenpress style. Sometimes playing this calm football and going on the counter-attack is all you need. It really is. Now, of course, we are going to go over the attacking variant, a perfect tactic to take in to a game with you, whether you're going to goal down or you're 0-0, you want to go for a win, etc, etc. Or if you are playing as a real powerhouse, you could actually play this tactic through the entire season because you could be a little bit more risk-taking. Now, going over the goalkeeper is going to remain unchanged. We introduce 2 more ball-playing defenders because I really want them to be a bit more progressive, take more risks, and get involved moving the ball up the field. So that's going to be 2 default ball playing defenders and still that one who of course is going to be on the cover option. The wing backs on the right are going to be exactly the same on the right and the left. From support to attack, as I discussed, on cross more often, cross aim centre, run wide and also stay wider. In the middle, the DM gets scrapped. We go in with a Roman playmaker, a really good role in any 3-5-2 because he picks up the ball and simply just spreads it from right to left and links up the entire midfield really, really well. A box-to-box on the left is going to remain the same as the default variant, and the Mazzala goes from a supportive role to an attacking role with the addition of dribble more as well. In terms of the deep lying forward, he remains exactly the same, and the advanced forward, similar, but a little bit of a tweaked version with dribble more and shoot more often to really making sure we're getting these shots off at goal. Big time. Construction wise and all based again off the custom counter-attack style on the attacking mentality, we are going to go with fairly wide, pass into space, focus play down the left and the right, and of course we're going to keep that playing out from the back because we do have now 3 ball playing defenders. It makes complete sense to do so. This section remains unchanged, the final third remains unchanged, but the real addition is going to be more expressive. Again, such a big change from having this on and not having it on. When you have this on, the players are going to be a lot more sort of expressive, a lot more attack and minded, so it makes all the difference when you're trying to chase for a goal. Transition, one simple change. distribute quickly. Out of possession, we're going to rock the higher defensive line, the high pressing line of engagement. Much more often, we're going to prevent short goalkeeper distribution, we're going to get stuck in, and also we're going to step up more with a defensive line. Now to 360 the perspective, we are going to go back and release a defensive variant for when you're trying to defend a game. Now, I wouldn't advise going into a game like this. This is much more designed to draw out a game in the last 15 minutes and really, just backs against the wall, get the job done, get over the line sort of vibe. So the goalkeeper does remain unchanged. The central defenders come back into the team, so this goes back to being exactly the same as the default one, that risk-free back three. The wing-backs on the right and the left are both going to be on the same. They're both simply going to be on support. Now, they are still going to get further forwards because they have to. I want something out on the wide areas, but they're not going to be having all of them custom instructions on, which makes them a lot more attack-and-minded. So they are simply going to be on the default. The DM comes back in, but is now going to be on defend to really glue that midfield simply on tackle harder. The box-to-box is going to remain in the team as per all other two of the variants, but not going to be getting told, to get further forwards on this occasion, simply on the default roam from position. And the central midfield player replaces the Mazzala on automatic on roam from position and also move into channels. So this midfield now is very risk-free indeed. We've got one DM who glues the back lineup. We've got a box-to-box who is naturally going to get further forwards, but it's not instructed to do so every single time. And this player here is simply just to drift about and, making sure we're keeping the ball, really. And the two up top is going to be a default deep lying forward and a default advanced forward. Team instruction-wise, and again, same style, but the mentality is going to drop to balance now. A balanced mentality, so very, very defensively solid now. We're going to pass into space. Of course, we're going to focus down the left and the right, and we're still going to play out from the back as per, because we've got them three defenders. It makes sense to do so. We're going to go slightly more direct with the directness as per, and on this occasion, we're going to lower the tempo, so a very low tempo style, and we are also going to introduce just a little bit of time waster. In transition, one nice, simple and effective change, slow the pace down. And out of possession, it's going to be very similar. We've still got the higher defensive line, we've still got the high press line of engagement, we're still preventing goalkeeper distribution, we're not going with a higher tempo. We're going to go for the standard trigger press, and we're going to stay on our feet. So a lot more of a composed, sort of come and attacker sort of style. Then eventually we'll win the ball back, and we will counter-attack and cause issues. But that is going to give you guys 3 variants of Allegri's amazing 3-5-2, as requested on several occasions. If you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a comment below on any future videos you want to see. Leave a little like, and be sure to subscribe as well. It's completely free. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.